Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Darrell Owens, and this is another edition of One on One here on the Legacy Maker Sports Network and, of course, on Bowie Television. We are excited because this is episode 114 as we chug along into the NFL season. But along with that, we've got some Thursday night football tonight, probably in a lot of people's eyes, a snore fest. But hey, we've been surprised before. We got the Panthers who come in here 1-7 and the Chicago Bears who come in 2-7. So it's not a cute game. As you will see in our NFL pick'ems, my guy Rob Johnson decided to say it was going to be a tie this week. That's how unsure he was on how to pick this game. But we'll get into all that a little bit later. But with that being said, we do have a lot to get into. We some flips, some moved around. We've got some changing along the way. But this is episode 114 of One on One here on the Legacy Maker Sports Network and airing on the wonderful Bowie Television. For all our Bowie listeners, I hope that you have been enjoying so far. Our Legacy listeners, you've been doing this for a while, so I know y'all understand how it all goes. All right, episode 114 coming at you right now on the Legacy Maker Sports Network.
One, 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 one. One, 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 one. Welcome to the one-on-one. When it comes to ratings, man, we number one. I get the truth, then I give them the scoop. If anybody got a question, I give them the proof. Welcome to the one-on-one. When it comes to ratings, man, we number one. I get the truth, then I give them the scoop. If anybody got a question, I give them the proof. Welcome to One on One at Legacy Maker Sports Network.
Yo. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, for another edition of One on One here on the Legacy Maker Sports Network and, of course, on Bowie Television. We've got a good week to talk about. We got a lot to get into from last week. I'm excited. We got another week of the power rankings coming your way, and I'm just excited to see where everybody stands. And now that we're at the midway point during the season, we kind of know where everybody is and kind of know which teams are good and which teams are maybe a little bit better than we thought, and or some that are not as good as we thought. But with all that being said, we got a lot to get into, so we're going to go ahead and break it out. It is time to start this bad boy at the bottom. Right, we're at the bottom for this week, and so the bottom this week is I'm not gonna say it's the same as other weeks because it really isn't, but it's we know those consistent teams that have been at the bottom. There may be a one or two new ones in there, some that escaped and got into the outside looking in. But let's take it to the bottom. At the very bottom of this thing, it's still the Arizona Cardinals. Now, unfortunately, we knew that the Cardinals traded away Josh Dobbs last week, and he had an amazing week with the Minnesota Vikings, helping them get to a victory. So, much love to Josh Dobbs. I'm going to throw this out there because he deserves it. This man was in a tight playoff situation last year with the Titans, where they had to win and get in. He got them to a point where they had a shot at it. It just didn't go well. Then he gets traded in the offseason to the Cardinals, and right at the beginning of the season, right before the season started, he goes to the Cardinals. Plays well despite the record. He played really well and definitely gave Arizona a chance most weeks to win the game. And then he gets traded last week, or right before the trade deadline, to Minnesota after they lost Kirk Cousins. And then he comes in, and what he does, he get a win against Atlanta. So I'm a Josh Dobbs fan. He has done nothing but prove to me that he's tough. He can start at the NFL level, and that's just my opinion. I mean, others may feel different, but I just wanted to get that out of the way by Josh Dobbs. Anyway, Arizona at 32. They got shellacked last week against the Browns 27-0. It was not close at any point. At least that's definitely the way it felt. I never felt that the Cardinals had a chance in that game at all. It was just bad. So they're number 32. But on the bright side for the Cardinals, their number one quarterback, their man, Kyler Murray, will be back this week. and he will play this week. He will start for the Cardinals. They went with Clayton Tune last week. It did not go well. I think they wanted to make sure Kyler was back before they made the move, and it looks like that's where they will land. The Cardinals will have Kyler back this week, but they are number 32 on our countdown, on our power rankings, and it's just been rough for them. At number 31, the Carolina Panthers, another team that continues to struggle. They haven't been able to really get over um, a lot of things. Even last week in their win against the Texans, I feel like it was just an off day for the Texans. Now I did pick the Panthers to win, but I just had a vibe, and so I'm I'm still just it's still going to be a rough go for the Panthers. They don't even get their first round pick, this year. So that pick goes to Chicago, and right now that's like number two. I believe it's number two. So they have the number two pick currently, but that goes to Chicago. So the Panthers got a lot of work to do. See if they can beat the Bears tonight, and maybe I don't know if they really like help the position any. I mean, a loss just continues to put the Bears in a good spot. But by all means, Panthers at 31. At 30, the Chicago Bears. Very impressed by the Chicago Bears, even though they did not win on Sunday. Tyler Badgett had a really decent game for the most part. Yes, he had 3 picks, but he did a lot more than I expected for him to be able to do and keep that Bears team in that game against the Saints. And a great game for Cole Kmet. He had 2 touchdowns on the day. So they got, like I said, they have the Panthers tonight. So for me, I'm going to go with Chicago in tonight's game as a little bit of a spoiler, but who knows in that game. The Bears are at 30. At 29, the New York Giants. The Giants are terrible, and there's no nice way to put it. They lose Daniel Jones in the contest last week. He's out for the season. I believe ACL. It's either MCL, ACL. It's one of the L's. And he is out for the season. So tough goal for the Giants. They can't catch a break. And, you thought maybe they go out there and sign themselves a veteran quarterback. At least I haven't seen it yet, or anybody that of importance. I mean, the Rams went and got Carson Wentz. Like I said, I really don't know if it's going to help the Giants team at this point in the season. So we'll see. Right now, they're in the mix for getting that number 1 pick next season. The Raiders, who are 21 on the bottom and are at the bottom this week, they got the win 30-6 over the Giants team. They look pretty good in the process. And it just tells you the difference a coach makes. Antonio Pierce comes in there. The energy level is completely different. They're smoking cigars in the locker room. They're just happy. And I think they're happy because Josh McDaniels is gone. And that tells you how bad of a head coach Josh McDaniels has been. They said they had a team meeting and that didn't go well. A whole team meeting like about a week or so before he got fired, and it just didn't go well. It was time, but the Raiders get the win. So congratulations to Vegas. They're number 21 on our power ranking. At 28, the New England Patriots. Got a chance to see him in person last week. Went up to Foxborough, had a chance. Really nice, gorgeous stadium. The lighthouse is beautiful. Everything about the stadium I really did like. I enjoyed it. I truly did enjoy it. So I will say this. I thought the Commanders let them hang in a little bit longer than they probably should have because the Patriots offense is really not that good from what I can see. I mean, seeing it up close in person, they made some plays here and there, but it's the defense. It's all about the defense on that Patriots team. But they're offensively, they are in a bind. So it's going to be really interesting to see where the Patriots go to or where they head as a year go on. And, I just don't know what this Patriots team's all about. It's tough. They're at 28. At 27, the Rams. They lose to the Green Bay Packers 20-3. I definitely picked the Rams last week because Green Bay's been playing like hot garbage fire. So for them to get this win, and the Packers are 25th this week, for them to get the win over the Rams, I was a little bit surprised. Even with Brett Ripken in as quarterback, I really thought the Rams would still find a way, but they just didn't. And the Packers played better. Aaron Jones looked good, and that's what you want. I mean, I feel like Jordan Love's success is really gonna depend on Aaron Jones, at least for this season. If you can get Aaron Jones rolling and give you that security, that true security blanket on the offensive skill positions, you just can't go wrong with that. So we'll see. They got Pittsburgh this week. That's going to be tough. Rams, on the other hand, they have a bye, and it's much needed. They're in a little bit of trouble right now. So they did sign Carson Wentz on Tuesday. So that's going to give the Rams another backup quarterback, an experienced backup quarterback. We don't know how much it'll help, but we'll see. Rams at 27, Packers at 25. At 26, the Tennessee Titans. The Titans disappointed me. I had them winning last week 22-19. They ended up losing 20-16. Will Levis, who has officially been named the starter for the Titans, that which happened on Tuesday. So congratulations to Will Levis. He's going to get his chance to, it's his ship now in Tennessee. But they lose a tough one to the Steelers. But that's the type of game the Titans play. I know I've talked about it a million times on here, so I'm not going to go too deep. But that I'm not surprised. And some told me not to pick them, but I did anyway. Titans at 26. At 24, the struggling Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa Bay started off hot, played well. They were 3-1. They were cooking. And ever since that Detroit game has been a disaster. They have lost 4 straight. They're 3-5, and they cannot get it together. They had a really good that Texans Buccaneers game last week, probably the game of the weekend. It was just it was an exciting game. CJ Stroud's out here just looking like a Pro Bowler and looking like he should have been the number 1 pick of the draft, like I said. But I don't toot my horn too much occasionally. And that was the one. I felt like he was going to be the better quarterback in the league, at least in year 1. That has been the case. But not going to put nothing past Bryce Young just yet. It's still early in the career, and some people do take a little bit more time to get things going and develop. So we'll see how that pans out. At 23, the Broncos, they were on a bye this week. So, good week, back-to-back wins for the Broncos. So we'll see how they bounce back this following week here in week 10. At 22, the Atlanta Falcons, a mystery team. I don't know what you're getting from this team from week to week. Taylor Heineke started last week. They played significantly better with Taylor in there at quarterback, in my opinion, which means the Falcons more likely are going to be quarterback hunting in the offseason again. That's my opinion. Just things don't look like things are working out with Desmond Ridder. That's why Heineke is now the starter. Another reason why they brought Heineke in to be, a backup, because they knew that maybe they knew in the back of their mind there was a strong chance he could come in at some point this season. And Taylor will get things going there. He's a baller. He's one of the toughest QBs out there. So the Falcons at 22, and of course we talked about the Raiders. They're at 21. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the bottom for this week. Cardinals, Panthers, Bears, Giants, Patriots, Rams, Titans, Packers, Bucks, Broncos, Falcons, and Raiders. So, some of those bottom teams could easily be in the outside looking next week. For the second straight year, I feel like the NFL is in a really good parity place. It's a really good mix in the middle, of teams that you really don't know who they are, or I guess you can say maybe not who they are, but what they could be. So I think we're sitting in the same spot we were last year around this time, trying to figure out what those middle teams are and what they're going to look like. And to be honest with you, it goes all the way up probably to number 8. So from 8 down to about 23, it's a mix. Who knows? It's a guess from week to week on where to put those teams at. You got to kind of base it off of how they played that week, head-to-head matchups, all that good stuff. So, but with that being said, let's go to the outside looking in. Outside looking in this week. We start with number 20. They got a win last week, the Indianapolis Colts. Indianapolis has been a team this year that obviously they lose their starting quarterback in Anthony Richardson with a shoulder injury. Gardner Minshew has come up and done a really good job. I mean, he has not been terrible at all, and he still gives that Colts team a very solid backup quarterback, which you have to have nowadays in the NFL. If you don't believe it, go ask some of these teams out here that are hurting. But it's good to have that a solid backup, and Minshew is just that. And the Colts won 27-13 over the Panthers. So nice day. Kenny Moore had a really good day. We'll talk about him a little bit more later, but he had a really good day for the Indianapolis Colts. But they're at 20 on our power rankings this week. At 19, the Commanders. They get a win after losing a couple straight, losing to the Giants and the Eagles. They go to New England and beat the Patriots 20-17. Personally, like I said, being at the game, I really thought that the Commanders probably had a chance to really open that up a little bit. But the Patriots defense, kept them in the mix. The Patriots offense to me is abysmal. There's something about it that's just a little rough to see. But Sam Howell is that guy. I really do think Sam Howell is the future quarterback of this team. I said on my guy Michael Phillips show, MP on the mic, on his radio show earlier this week. that I'm about 80% sure he's the guy. 80%, strong 80% sure that he's the guy, but we'll see. But the Commanders are at 19, and they head to Seattle this week. That's going to be a tough matchup, especially after Seattle's rough loss to the Ravens last week. At 18, the Jets. The Jets offensively just couldn't get it going on Monday night, and the Chargers, who are at 17, handled their business, did what they needed to do. They get a win. The Chargers are still kind of battling back, trying to get in the right spot, trying to get in the right place. So, we'll see. We'll see if the Chargers can figure it out, keep things rolling. I know they play the Packers in a couple of weeks. That's something I'm not excited about personally because we know, we were like sometime against the Chargers. But anyway, they get the win against the Jets. They're 4-4. The Jets are 4-4 after the loss, and their winning streak is over. At 4-4 at number 16, the Houston Texans. We talked a little bit earlier. C.J. Stroud is a monster. He is really, really good, and I really like this Houston team and the way that the league is set up right now. Hey, look, I wouldn't be surprised that if Houston finds a way to make the playoffs. I mean, to make the playoffs, and D'Amico Ryans, and it's said every week on the show, has done a great job. Love the Texans. Keep doing your thing. They're at 16. At 15, the Minnesota Vikings. Despite losing Kirk Cousins, they go get Josh Dobbs. They get a big win against Atlanta. I definitely picked Atlanta because I thought they would take advantage of the situation, but a really good day for the Vikings and the Josh Dobbs-led Vikings, and they were able to get the win 31-28. So kudos to the Vikings there at 15. At 14, the Saints. The Saints got the win over the Bears. It was actually a really tough contest, but Derek Carr and the boys were able to get the win. They'll be 14 this week at 5-4. At 13, the Buffalo Bills. I don't know what to say about Buffalo. Just know that the window is closing. That is my opinion on Buffalo. The window is closing, and it's closing really, really fast. At 12, the Seahawks. Seahawks, another team with a tough loss last week. They are going to try to bounce back this week against the Commanders, but it really falls to a really good, underrated Ravens team. And I know that's crazy to say, but they are. No one's really talking about Baltimore. They're going to be talking about them after this week, but they're not talking about them that much. At number 11, the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys lost a tough one to the Eagles, 28-23. Prescott had a really good day, 374 yards, 3 touchdowns. Love what Prescott did that whole day. Just loved every bit of it. CeeDee Lamb's 11 reception for 191 yards, but the Eagles were just too much. And no matter what, the Eagles have proven each week that they're going to be a tough team to beat every single week. And there it is, outside looking in: Colts, Commanders, Jets, Chargers, Texans, Vikings, Saints, Bills, Seahawks, and Cowboys. So we smacked the outside looking in, and now we head to our top 10. It is time to find out who are the top 10 teams, according to thou, in the NFL at the current time. Let's go ahead and get into the top 10. All right, so we head into the top 10 this week, and I still feel pretty good about where we are in the top 10. Steelers with the win last week, they're at number 10. They're just a team. Some organizations are just always going to be in the mix. And for me, I feel like the Steelers, especially the last 15, 16 years, especially as long as Tomlin has been there, they're just always going to be in the mix in some form or fashion, and you can never look past them. And you can never okay, they'll be all right. You have to really truly pay attention. But I got the Steelers at 10. At number 9, the San Francisco 49ers, they were on a bye last week. They bring in Chase Young on the trade deadline. I think that's going to pay huge dividends. Chase Young said some pretty not so nice things about his time in Washington, but on the sneak. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with him and how he progresses there in San Francisco. But they're at 9 this week. At number 8, the Cleveland Browns. The Browns with an impressive 27-0 victory over the Cardinals. Deshaun Watson is back. Looks like he's back in good form. 2 touchdowns, 219 yards. Amari Cooper had 5 receptions for 139 yards and a TD. So the Browns, big matchup against the Ravens this week. I'm not just going to be a spoiler alert. I picked the Browns. I think the Browns are going to find a way to win that one in Baltimore. At number 7, the Cincinnati Bengals. And as you can see, all 4 AFC North teams are in the top 10. All 4 AFC North teams are in the top 10. Best division in football right now. Best division in football. The Bengals with a nice win over Buffalo. Joe Burrow is back to form. I think he's in a really good spot. It looks like the injury is not affecting him the way it was. 2 touchdowns, 348 yards passing. Higgins had 8 receptions, 110 yards. The Bengals look like they're back. So watch out for Cincinnati. At number 6, the Miami Dolphins. They played this one in Frankfurt. They took on the Chiefs, who are now 3 this week. The Chiefs got off to a 21-0 start, had the lead, and the Dolphins scored 2 touchdowns late. Had a chance to, tie that thing up, just didn't happen. So my thing with the Dolphins this year, their 6 wins are against teams that are not good. Their 3 losses are against legit teams in most people's eyes. So the Bills, the Chiefs, and what was the other team they lost to? They lost to somebody else of importance, but so far they have not been able to beat the good teams. And it's shown, and they've lost by 2 touchdowns. Oh, the Eagles. So they lost to the Eagles, the Chiefs, and they also lost to oh man, I'm having a brain fart, y'all. But yeah, Eagles, Chiefs, and then the Bills. So those 3 teams, who are in a lot of people's eyes are legit teams, they haven't been able to beat them, and they've lost. They lost the first 2 by 2 touchdowns or more. The Chiefs won just by 1, but we got them at 6. They're still a really good, high-powered offense. We'll just have to figure out if they can actually beat a really good team. At number 5, the Lions, they were on bye last week. We got them at 5. The Jaguars, they were number 2 last week. They slipped a little bit this week, but it's only because of the bye. They're at number 4. At number 3, the Chiefs, after impressive win over the Dolphins. Number 2, the Baltimore Ravens, and a much-deserved number 2 for the Baltimore Ravens. They have played really good football, and ever since, London and beyond, they've played really good football, and they're number 2 on our power rankings right now. But it's been a quiet season, in my opinion, for the Ravens, because a lot of people have not been talking about them. Lamar Jackson is 18-1 against the NFC. It's just some good things coming out of Baltimore right now. Number 1, Philadelphia Eagles, 8-1, sitting on top of the world right now. They're cruising. Things are looking good. So top 10, Steelers, 49ers, Browns, Bengals, Dolphins, Lions, Jaguars, Chiefs, Ravens, and Eagles. So that's where we stand for the power rankings this week. We're going to go ahead and get into the finale. We got some good things to talk about there. Let's get into the finale. Let's finish this bad boy up. All right, so here for the finale this week. First things first, we got our players of the week. Easy one offensively. C.J. Stroud, 470 yards passing, 5 touchdowns. He goes 30 for 42 and a 39-37 victory over Tampa Bay. C.J. Stroud has veins of steel. I mean, it's ice cold, man. He is tough as they come. The Texans have lucked up. That's all I can say. They have lucked up tremendously in getting C.J. Stroud. On the defensive side of the ball, Kenny Moore II. We talked about him a little bit earlier. 8 tackles, 2 touchdowns, two pick sixes in that bad boy. Congratulations, Kenny Moore II, and a 27-13 win over Carolina. So those are your players of the week for week 9. Our MVP race is as follows. We're going Mahomes, McCaffrey, Tua, Hill, and Brown for our playoff race. It's been kind of fluctuating between those top 4 guys most of the year. But Brown has played well enough, in my opinion, that he has and deserves MVP consideration. T.J. Watt has been in that mix the last couple of weeks for what he's been doing on the defensive side of the ball. But there we are, Mahomes, McCaffrey, Tua, Hill, and Brown, top 5 MVP candidates as of right now. Now, let's head into our pick'em from last week. So last week, experts of the week, James Brown, killing it, 11-3. All 3 of these people, wonderful people, went 11-3 last week. James went 11-3 and took the lead in the Legends division, and he is now locked into that number 2 seed. So congratulations to James, at least for now. We still got a couple of weeks to go. Christina with another great week, and Justice as well, both 11-3. So they're looking pretty good right now. They're happy. They're smiling. And both of those young ladies are in the playoff mix as well. So looking at our overall leader right now, that's Russ. Russ has been on fire. I mean, Russ is killing it right now. He is locked into the overall number 1 seed. He is trying to get that bye in the first round. Christina is nipping on his heels at 88-48. Ty, then Joe, Larry, Jay, and then Rob. On the Legends side of things, You see James sitting at the top there, making things happen. I'm right there. Me and Joey are sitting there trying to hope that James struggles one week and then we take full advantage of it. But Joey, for the first time all season, is no longer the leader. Justice at 82 wins. Victor and Corey both have 75. And Lamont, unfortunately, right now is last place in the entire league. I did not see that coming. So that we're having so much fun with the pick'ems. Then we switch over to our current playoff standings. If the playoffs started today, in the AFC, the Chiefs would be the number 1 seed, the defending champs. The Baltimore Ravens would be 2, and they would take on the Bengals. What a first-round matchup that would be. That thing would be insane for an opening round playoff game on Wild Card Weekend. Number 3, the Jacksonville Jaguars would take on the Browns. I think it would be another really good matchup between Trevor Lawrence and Deshaun Watson. So that would be the 3 and your 6 seed matchup. And the 4 and the 5 would be the Dolphins and the Steelers. Another matchup I think would be interesting. I think the Dolphins would pull that out if that was to happen. On the NFC side, we've got the Eagles atop of the world. Number 2, the Lions, who are off this week. They would take on the Vikings, who hung on tight to that playoff spot with a win last week. Number 3, the San Francisco 49ers, who are on bye. They would take on the Dallas Cowboys, which that would be the 3rd year straight that they played them in the playoffs. And then the last one, the Saints and the Seahawks, which would be another interesting matchup on the NFC side of things. Right now, currently on the season, I am 83-53. Feeling really good about the record this year. 2 solid back-to-back weeks. Went 11-5 last week. Went 10-4 this past weekend. So feeling really good. Hoping to get close. Maybe not this week, but we got the next crack in that 100 mark. I know Russ is 10 wins away from it. He's cruising right now. But I'm liking this season. I'm in a better spot than I was last year. Then let's head to tonight's matchup. We got the Chicago Bears taking on the Carolina Panthers. I got the Bears winning this one 24-14. I think Badger and the boys are going to find a way unless somehow we see Justin Fields. But I'm going regardless. I'm going with the Bears in this one 24-14. Then our picks for the week, we got Bears, Steelers, Seahawks, Colts, Bengals, Bucks, Browns, Jaguars, Saints, Cardinals, Lions, Cowboys, Raiders, and Bills. And so there we are. That is it for the power rankings this week. Once again, everybody, I want to thank everybody for tuning in for episode 114 of 101 as we go through the power rankings for another week. And all our Bowie TV listeners, truly thank you all for tuning in. Once again, another fun one. We'll be back next week for 115 to break down week 11. And we're getting closer. We're getting closer, and closer. Once again, everybody, thank you all for tuning in. I truly appreciate y'all. Have a great weekend. And like I said, always go out there and enjoy some football. High school football is in playoff season. College football is getting to the nitty-gritty. And, of course, the NFL is right through the midway point, and it's just rocking right along. Well, everybody, until next time, thank you all for tuning in. This has been 101 on the Legacy Maker Sports Network and Bowie Television.
Legacy Maker, the all sports network.
Welcome to the 101. When it comes to ratings, man, we number one. I get the truth, then I give them the scoop. If anybody got a question, I give them the